how we are able to wirelessly stream from our iPads. And guys, that was the biggest game changer. And I think, and from what I can tell from the ADE program, we were like one of the first to take this consumer device. This is not designed for classroom whatsoever, an Apple TV. But don't think of this as an Apple TV. Think of this little hockey puck right here. That's the Apple TV. The $99, again, we call them hockey pucks. And with these, they're originally designed for your living room. You can watch and rent movies. Instead of going to Redbox, you get $50 and all of a sudden you're watching whatever you want to watch. TV shows, and you can stream your music library through it. That's what it's designed for. But we were like one of the first ones, and with Robbie Melton himself, to say, our faculty are tethered down to their desk. We want them out there. We want them walking the aisles amongst their students, helping them out, and being able to wirelessly stream. We had such tremendous trouble getting it on an enterprise network. Okay, this is a multi-million-dollar network above your heads, right? Getting a $99 piece of equipment on there is not easy. So eventually we did, and Apple relented too. They did an update that will allow us to get on encrypted networks, and that made it a little bit better. But AirPlay is something that you do with the Apple TV. Remember, there's two words here, AirPlay and AirServer. And I have a chart to explain the differences, and I might as well do that right now. But so, AirPlay versus AirServer. The hardware for AirPlay is that hockey puck, that black Apple TV. And AirPlay, by the way, is kind of the verb. Okay, we're airplaying right now. AirServer is what I'm actually using AirServer right now. I am airplaying my Mac computer to this PC and streaming it up there. But just to get it through your head, you are able to wirelessly project what is on your PC, on your iPad, to your PC. Okay? So then your PC is streaming out here. So for all you Camtasia users, hopefully bells are ringing off here saying, oh my gosh, I can put my iPad on my screen and I can record what's there on my PC screen. Yes. Okay, with AirPlay, that is possible. And there's some big pros and cons between these guys, and that's what I want to talk about very quickly. The cost for AirPlay is $99 whenever you're using the Apple TV. That's the hockey puck. And we have, I think we're maybe about to get 2 dozen at Walter State. A lot of division secretaries can check them out to you. And if you have any questions setting it up, just get with me. We can put a little guide on AirPlay and everything like that. But now if you're looking at that cost saying, oh my gosh, I can get a license for AirServer as low as $7, yes. There's some asterisks here that I'd like to talk about. And by the way, it's very difficult through Walter State's current purchasing program because the AirServer people are in Iceland. All right? So when I was filling out the rec for this, and it was like, choose your state, and I'm like, it took me a long time to get AirServer license. I was the first one to get them. So I kind of paved the way, but it was a little tricky. The installation, this is where I really get on my soapbox. AirPlay on Apple TV, turnkey solution. You plug it in, we do a little magic in IET, but pretty soon that magic is going to be gone, and you can all just plug it in directly. And you don't even need a Wi-Fi network with iOS 8. I'm not even sure how that works, but Apple, they're geniuses, and they say you don't even need a Wi-Fi network now. Okay? So that's awesome. So that's super easy. Then, it took me, again, I was the first one, it took me 2.5 months to get AirPlay on my computer, or AirServer on my computer. Because there's this MSI file, and those are seen as unsafe, so you have to trick the computer into thinking that they're safe. And eventually, we're at a place now where IET can install them pretty easily, but it's not something many of you can do on your own. So you have to get with us, and we have to kind of hack into your computer and get it going. So,
and you purchase it by device, so you can't put it on your laptop and then use the same purchase to put it on your computer here.
Okay, are you?
So, like I'm saying.
That was a question. I thought you were. I don't know much about the licensing funds. I thought you were telling me.
I'm not exactly sure. Again, the licensing is kind of confusing. Even when you tell someone, oh, it costs $7 or $20. Yeah. Like, okay, well, which is it? The licensing is a little sticky. I've heard that one license can use up to 3, but don't quote me on that. Go to the AirServer website there in Iceland and figure it out for yourself, okay? So, but it is a bit messy, but it's a good tool. Again, it's saving my rear end today. I wouldn't have this if it wasn't for AirPlay and AirServer. But and therein lies the ease. AirPlay with Apple TV, in my opinion, is very easy. AirServer is pretty easy. All right, we're in the South. We understand that order of operations, right? So this is pretty easy. And definitely, he's a good guy with technology. So I'm not saying, well, if John LaPriest can do it, anybody can do it. But Dr. LaPriest is using AirServer, and he's loving it. But I had to be there the first 2 times before he officially jumped in. He just put his toe in the water on his 2 classes. So it's a little bit more technical. Whereas Apple TV, and I'm not beaming my screen, so you have to look at this little 9.7-inch one here. Apple TV is easy as this right here. Okay, you put up on that control center, which we did before. We tap AirPlay, and when we do tap AirPlay, if you're on the network, if you're on Staff Internet, you should see this huge list of available Apple TVs that are plugged in right now. And so I'm going to choose the appropriate Apple TV, IDT conference, and I just slide mirroring on, and boom, there we are. AirServer isn't that easy. You have to get there. Eventually it gets a little easier, but it's not as easy as that. And that's why I kind of want to nudge people to the Apple TV direction personally, just because it's so darn easy. When these first came out, it wasn't as easy with iOS 6 to do this. And so when I was trying to convince people, oh yeah, you need to be doing this wirelessly, like they're doing at Maddie's side, just being able to walk around the room, and you need to be able to do it like that. And they say, okay, cool, how do I do that? Well, you got to plug in the Apple TV, make sure the Apple TV is in the same network as this network right here. You got to open up multitasking mode, which is double tap, and this panel slides up. You slide to the right, you hit the AirPlay button, you find the right network, you click that network, you turn on mirroring, and then you should be broadcasting. And then they say, can I use just that dongle thing to plug in directly? And I'm like, yeah. But now it's a lot easier, all right? It's a lot easier to do that. So let me also, I cannot stress this enough. I have nightmares about this. I really do. Because I'm afraid somebody's reputation is going to get ruined by this right here. Security. You do not want any student on campus to be able to say, hey, I know Ms. Bolton's teaching classes right now. I know she doesn't have a password code on her Apple TV. I'm just going to beam something up there. Okay? You don't want to play that game. Both AirPlay and AirServer have security options to stop that. The first one is a password. Just you know the password. And that's okay if you're the only one that's using it. Okay? You don't want to then give the student the passcode, because it's important. Students can leave their stuff up here, and that's awesome. All right? We want that. But if you're handing out your passcode, you completely defeat its purpose. And the system used to be, oh, you got to go in there and change it for every class. Well, then you're going to forget it. Okay? So now Apple's invented something really top-notch called on-screen codes, where you have to be in the room to be able to take over the TV. So what happens, and neither security method is installed on this Apple TV. I'll scold David later. He just likes to live life on the wild side, I guess. But the on-screen code, what that does, we have that in the presidential conference room and everything else, where you say, I want to connect to Apple TV, and a 4-digit code pops up on the screen. It's always different. So you've got to have eyes on that screen. Party is in the room for whoever takes over the screen. I think that's a good as well. Can students just all of a sudden start popping things up there? Well, yeah. Don't turn on the Apple TV until you're ready for sharing time. But at least you know they are in the room. And otherwise, you could have literally done it off campus and beamed something back here. We would have no idea who it was. All right? Phil Moorfield believes that he could light up MAC addresses. And I'm like, that would take a year before we find out who does that. But, so please know your security settings. We have a document out on the help desk website that AirPlay security, that thing, that takes you through all of these steps here. So please, if you're going to use this technology, and I don't want to scare you away from it, I love this, but just know the security settings. And one last thing, this is